Hello, and welcome back to the best in the world podcast. We're here. It's me, Vince, or CM Punk. You want to call me here tonight? We have episode 2. I know we had 3 people for the first episode, but this one deserves his own episode, if you ask me. It is now 22 time, I believe. World champion John Cena, also known as a cryptid.
It's a pleasure being on here.
I
I'm
mean, I could say this.
I'm excited for a conversation with my friend, and I'm curious about the questions I will be needing to answer here. So let's get this thing started off.
Okay, so if you guys watch 6 Feet Under podcast, you know everything in his backstory. But what I want to know is because not we don't only just do VRC here. We also do a little bit of real life stuff. So
Yes.
what makes me wonder is why do you pick out of everybody to be your main character to play as? Why John Cena?
Well, it's because I kind of relate to him, kind of. I'm someone who is driven by respect and honesty, and I figured that I basically seen no other option. I feel like this is best because it is someone I'm comfortable with and someone who I relate to, and every day I try to carry on his wisdom and his knowledge of the business. So, yeah, it's pretty much just we're kind of similar in a way. So I just thought this is gonna be easy, and here I am today, 22-time champion, baby.
Yeah, I can say the same thing. I feel the exact same way. I relate to CM Punk. No, I feel exactly that you put it. I relate to him. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that. But, I'm in high school. I see a lot of that going on around me. I'm not that kind of dude. My addiction is wrestling. You know, because I do IRL mat wrestling. If you guys don't know, um, not like WWE wrestling, like Olympic wrestling, that kind of wrestling. Um, so other question, I guess, how would I put this? Okay, if you had someone mainly like trained you throughout your career or been with you throughout your career and helped you to the steps in your career, like starting at your first business, here with you now, helping you train from the beginning and progressively getting better over time, who would that be? If you do have any.
Well, I hate to rain on your parade, but I am self-taught. I'm not saying that there weren't people that helped and guided me through the business and its knowledge, because I could list off many names of people who have impacted me in this business, but when it comes to starting out, I done it all by myself. So I am self-taught, if you will.
I totally understand. That's kind of how I started off as well, but I kind of grew out to like, my first company. We talked about this in WECW. We talked about this in 6 Feet Under. Um, Kind of a little bit of a JoJo, a little bit of that. The first person I really became friends with, I mean, he didn't totally like go through it with my entire career. He's just been there. Every single time I go to some other company, he's there. If I see him, he's there. I never really had anyone to train with. That's where I can like agree with you, compare us together. Um, I didn't really have anyone. How I really did it is I watched YouTube, WWE, basically off that, 2K, basically look at the move sets, kind of off that, based off that. And how I kind of did it was basically the person I was with most of the time was Big Red because I've already seen them around in multiple companies. That's exactly what I do in so many companies that it makes me better over time. Um, I know some people like staying in small companies, which I assume you do because that's mostly what you do. But I'm starting to get back in the big leagues. Don't just play CM, play, you know, assortment of players, but CM Punk's my first. Um, hmm. Let's see. What is the other question that we talk about that was not in the podcast? Okay. Um. So if you had to pick between either like being in like real life and like actually pro wrestling, like in indies, start off hard, kind of working your way up into TNA, NXT, and actual WWE? Or would you stay in here where you actually like built the respect, the hustle, the loyalty that you've earned in VRC?
So, I would love the opportunity to. I've been wrestling for years, IRL, but I've never really gotten a chance to shine. Would I love to do it? Yes, but it's not my time right now. So, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do not know how much longer I have left of this because time is running out. It's just an opportunity, well, not an opportunity, it's just a thought of what's next after this because this might be a bit of breaking news, but I see myself fully retiring from this soon, like this year. So maybe after this, I will start going going hard on IRL wrestling because my clock is running out here.
I told that. Um, I know I'm like compared to you, I'm probably younger because you're like 19.
19th of September. I'm getting old, man.
I mean, you still got some, so you're 18. I'm a year young. Um, you're making me sound, bro. You're making me sound young.
I feel
YN,
old.
you're making me seem like Javon Evans. Um, uh, but I see you. That makes you a senior, right? Or you?
uh,
Oh,
well, I am from another country,
yeah. You,
so in my country I'm an adult. So not really a senior, not really a I left high school many years ago. I
oh,
left high school like 3 years ago. So and like ever since then I've just been getting job after job, just trying to
yeah.
make a bit of money for myself and then, wrestling.
thing about wrestling is it's pretty hard to actually start wrestling like IRL. When
Oh my God,
this
it's the
is
worst.
more, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's way harder. It's way worse. You know, you blood, sweat, and tears. I know everyone keeps on saying that, and you guys are like, I'm tired of people saying that. It's really true. It's full on true. I could say that because throughout my entire life, I know I'm still in high school now. I'm 17, freshly 17. Um, that I've worked my way through football, through actual wrestling, and hopefully soon I get my driver's license because where I live, there's not that many places to train. So I see like that as like competition. That gives me a background that wants to show everybody like I'm in the middle of nowhere. I want to prove myself. So that ties into my next question. Do you think where you're from will play a role if you do like make a name for yourself like IRL wrestling?
Um, well, I am proud to be a citizen of my country, but I don't think I would make it my whole personality. It's for instance, take like someone like Drew McIntyre. He's
Yeah.
proud to be Scottish. I am also from Scotland, but I don't know, like it's just a matter of what kind of character and what kind of personality I'm gonna have.
They like the gimmick, yeah, yeah.
So like I can't guarantee anything yet, but I love my country. I'm a proud citizen, but I don't know if I'll be repping my colors on TV.
I mean, I know what you mean. Kind of harder to get recognized from a whole other country compared to me all the way in the United States where, you know, WWE originated from and all that. So, you know, it's tough finding questions because everybody has it's not different questions, but it's like more of how everybody has the more way of answering the question. And you know, on this podcast, I know not a lot of podcasts does this, but what I do is I allow my guests to ask me some questions so they get to know me better. I don't know if you want to do it now or if you want to do it later,
Well,
but
I was
uh,
kind of wanting to talk about our match at WrestleMania, the big one,
yes,
the
uh,
final,
final VW match
the final
again.
one, the biggest one.
You know, I'm proud that my last opponent in WWE was you as CM Punk. Um, at WrestleMania, everybody was wondering why wasn't I doing stuff? Why wasn't I the one helping out and all that? That was because that wasn't that moment wasn't no small moment. That moment was probably my biggest moment in my career. If someone asked me what is my biggest moment in my entire career of VRC wrestling, that is VWE WrestleMania Night 2 facing the greatest of all time, now 22-time champ, the Cryptics, John Cena, and, you know, getting the news that I will be cutting a promo SmackDown. Um, I will not let that go to waste. I feel like that news that I'm gonna bring up on SmackDown, I do not want this to like I don't want to say anything that will hint to anything, but like my time isn't exactly up See, when I'm saying clobbering time, it's not time for me doing the clobbering for everyone else. But what the match has taught me is like live with what you got. Live with what you thrive for, what you need. Because if you really want something, if you work and if you accomplish it, if you have nothing else to give, that's when you can put everything to rest. That's when you can proudly say, I did what I wanted, and that's exactly what I'm saying is I'm proud of you being my final match.
You son of a bitch. Trying to trying to make me emotional on live TV, man.
Name of the game.
But yeah, that match was very special. And it taught me the lesson of cherish what you have before it's gone. Because like we spent all the time in the world backstage, man. Like I still feel like
Yeah.
it's not enough, you know.
Yeah. I know what you see me on SmackDown. Um I'm still gonna be around because, Byron Saxon was kind of motivated by CM Punk leaving and having a few words with him backstage about starting his wrestling. And if you guys did not know wrestling, Byron Saxon used to wrestle in 2010 until he did not have the requirements WWE wanted him to, and made him either have a choice to be fired or become commentary, which elected commentary. But this time in WWE, they let him select the wrestle commentate.
I'm very excited to see what a commentator can do in the ring. I've
Yeah.
seen Cole do it. You know, he was something. I seen Pat McAfee do it. He's something. But anyone can do it if you just put your mind and heart to it. You know, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. I'm not telling anyone that you can't do this. You know, if you believe strongly about it, you can do it.
Oh, 100%. If you put your heart and soul to it, if you don't slack off, if you put your mind to it, you give it everything you got, make sure you make the less mistakes as you can, you definitely can. That's exactly what I did in VRC. That's why I'm in so many companies. I that's what people always ask me. Why are you in so many company events? Why do I always see you everywhere? Why do I see you in other companies? Because I want to get better. See, when I see people in small businesses, when I see people stay there, and I could see them being biggest name in VRC wrestling, it's not more of a why aren't you in all these companies? You could be a big name. It's more of like you do you, man. I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for you and what you settle with. You know what I mean? Like for you, instance, kind of like what I just said. Happy for you. You wanna stay in this small business. It's perfect small, community, and maybe that's the better, better or the worse. Um, who knows? But that's up for you to decide, and for me, that's up for me to decide. if I want to continue going with all these companies or staying with specifically the big ones, specifically the small ones. You know what I mean? Now, see, in this podcast, what I want to start doing, I was more testing for my first episode. For this podcast, I think I really want to get more personal if you want to. So
That's completely fine.
before, yeah, so before starting now, if anyone wants to be in the podcast, they don't have to be. We could talk about real life. So, like, I want to start getting into personal stuff, like actual podcast. Well, I see like 6 feet under only talking about VRC. I see Coda. I see like all that. But here we're gonna be. I wanna get more like on a personal level. I want everybody to feel what we're doing, what we're thinking, who we are, why we choose this direction. So I heard you say that you're all the way from Scotland, and compared to me, we're like completely on other sides of the world. Um, how does that work out for you? Because you have completely different time zones. You have all like most of the VR chat wrestling community on the exact opposite side of the world. So how does that really come into play when you're trying to do wrestling in these companies when it's completely like hard to talk to people if they're exactly different time zones, stuff like that.
Well, I am fortunate enough to where my real work is it's I pretty much work nights, so I'm never really up in the morning. So I'm fortunate enough to have a job that fits my schedule and which is comfortable for me. I mean, I'm not saying that, being up late at night is good, but I mean, like, it's comfortable for me. That's what I
Yeah,
enjoy.
I
So,
know it's
pretty much, I am fortunate enough to have a life that works with my schedule and is comfortable.
now. That being said, what I did for my job is being a carpenter, I make houses and stuff. Um, for if we're like speaking about personal level on jobs, we don't have to talk about your specific job. We don't have to specifically talk about like we don't even have to talk about jobs if you don't want. But if we're talking about jobs, it could go so many different ways in life. There's all these. It's basically one big tree. There's so many branches to lift off of. It's like a family tree if you think about it. There's some
I,
jobs completely different.
I will not share my job, but all I'm saying is that bitch pays nice. It is good money.
Hey, money is
Respect my
money.
hustle.
Fuck your royal injury. But I feel like for the job, people mainly talk about if you're comfortable with your job. But you said you were, but like, do you really think you could do this like for a full-time job for the rest of your life? Do you think this is just a stepping stone? Like, just you're happy and you're comfortable with this part in your life. You're just getting ready for the next.
Well, I'm gonna be on a personal note here. There are some moments where I don't enjoy my job, but I I tend to look past the cons about it and start looking at the pros. So at my job, I fell in love with someone. I have a good bunch of friends there. And the money's good.
Good.
Um, but yeah, I honestly would not be there if it wasn't for my wife.
That
So
what?
yeah, yeah, she's pretty much the reason why I still go. That and my friends. If it wasn't for that, I would have been gone a long time ago. So it's pretty much just stop, take your mind off the cons and start looking at it like this. Okay, this is bad, but I get this from it. You know, if
Yeah.
you want to enjoy it, you have to concede with it. You know,
Yes. Kind of want to look at more pros. You want to look at the good things more than the bad things. And this one ties in more like heavy. This more ties into like all the VRC wrestling fans, all the real life fans, all the people around the world. What would you really give for advice? What would you say helped you throughout life? What helped you see what you see everybody getting helped with, what you got helped with, what is something that kind of ties everything together, what best said.
living within my values. I as you know, I am about respect and honesty. That's not just a catchphrase, that's my way of life. I I do have my moments of vulnerability, but if if I am following with my values and living with them, then that's okay. You know, I'm human, and we all, you know, we all do some stupid shit sometimes, but you know, it's understandable. That
Yeah.
happens. So I tend to approach every day thinking to myself, don't be the same person you were yesterday. Always trying to change something about yourself. Being the same person every day to me is a bit boring. It's bland.
Yeah.
So I always try to change a little something in good ways because I don't want to be a bad guy. And I pretty much, it's just all about respect and honesty. And then, yeah, I pretty much every day I just try to live with my values and try not to be the same person I was yesterday.
I understand with that. You know, trying to improve what you do on a daily, prove on yourself, working conditions, like lifestyle, do what's more healthy, basically that stuff. I don't know if people want to see more of this personal level or they're just here for the VR chat stuff. But you personally, what would so if you see more other people get on a podcast, what would you like to see? Personal, get to know people more, or just about the VR chat, what they see, what their perspective?
Get the opportunity to see things from their perspective because all of us have our own perspectives. And it's curious and fun sometimes to see the other person's perspective. See how they look at things instead of just seeing them how we see them.
So, speaking about this, I don't know if this tied into a question. I don't know if I already asked you this question. We've been talking a little bit about 30 minutes already. This is like the last one. This is going pretty strong. I don't know if we talked about the 6 feet under podcast, but why do you choose the small fandoms? Why do you choose small group instead of the big one where you could
So,
again show why you
so to me, I don't think it's small. I don't see any company as a small company. All I care about is that it's under good management and everyone stays professional and just to showcase the best version of yourself that you can be.
okay?
So when it
Um,
comes to VWE, I don't believe it's small. I believe it's just somewhere everyone goes to showcase themselves and have fun. That's all it is.
see my personal view on the whole VR chat. I feel like how we all consider it. Oh, I won't say all because some consider it not actually role play, but like I consider this like a way everybody gets weight off their chest. How they do something for fun, like a hobby of some um how everybody, mostly younger people, but again, this community doesn't consider like older people. They don't say, "Oh, you shouldn't be here." They more invitively like accept them in. Some of these companies are more strict than others. Some of these companies only allow this age gap compared to other companies. Some of these companies, are way different from other ones. Um, so this I think is personally a good question. I'll probably ask everyone this question if they don't already have one. How would you um run your company if you ever had a company that
Well, I'm already kind of co-running a company
correct?
in VWE because recently I have been made a co-owner and a writer. And pretty much, I would allow them to do what they want as long as they ask permission, but at the same time, stay professional. Like, flow at your own rhythm, but like also keep in line, is what I'm trying to say.
Like can like act like it's kind of a job. You could goof off at times, but like lock in, like stop goofing off when it's time to actually like do what you're there to do. Like an actual job. You're there to have fun, but also it kind of ties into like life learning lesson. Like you don't always get what you want. Like not everyone becomes champion. Not everyone becomes IC. US. Maybe you like the undisputed more, huh, champ, more than the heavyweight, the heavyweight champion. It means a lot more to everybody else.
I also want to point something out, right? At WrestleMania, that was my first ever undisputed championship.
That would
Everyone,
have,
everything else has been world heavyweights. That was my first undisputed. So basically, what you said it. I've always wanted an undisputed championship, but sometimes we all can't get it. We gotta work for it.
yeah. It's exactly like in real life. How no, I don't want to certainly like. Oh, I like this person more, but I feel like that's what happened to CM Punk when he came back. Yeah, I know this is kind of a little bit biased. This is what happened to John Cena when he comes back. This is when a bunch of legend comes back. They don't. Well, I'm not gonna say they won't because this is kind of what happened to Roman. You don't just come back and instantly win a title. They always come back, have matches, earn their spot back after all these years of when they, started, and then they had a break, and then they come back. And for like John Cena, when he was on the retirement tour, he got a championship, and then he lost it and he retired. CM Punk when he lost the World Heavyweight Championship, um, Roman Reigns, and then he redirected his eyesight to the Undisputed. See,
I watched that
sometimes,
match, WrestleMania 42, CM Punk versus Roman. I'm not gonna lie, that pissed me
oh,
off so much.
yeah, that got me stressed out.
I was
That was
not
kind
happy.
of,
I believe Punk should have retained.
yeah, I did too, but I knew Roman was gonna win. I already knew they were, uh, but sometimes it's better to lose stuff in life and you'll gain something off of that. That doesn't always mean it will end up happening, but I don't want to say take. Well, I guess you can take the chance if it is really revealing itself. If a door opens and other one's to your left, one's to your right, you feel pulled way towards the right, but the left one just looks way more, available, always there. You see it over and over and over again, but you never choose it because the right one is more appealing. So, like, there might always be something that you see and that you probably want, but you always want something new. So, this is my next question. Would you rather stick with the new or stick with the old? Like, would you rather always see Cena wrestle the same matches? Like, he's young, but always see his old matches, or see his new matches, but not enough matches. Like, there's a lot more old matches, not enough new, but you can see how he's grown over time, like how Cena grows over time in real life, how he's not fit to compete anymore, according to him, uh, and how he was way better in his prime. And do you think that would also be able to like tie into our chat wrestling?
So, pretty much with my limited time that I have left, I it's true I like to stick to the basics, but I also want to spice it up a bit. I never want to recreate the same thing I always try to do something a little bit different. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm on my way out, but I'm going out with a bang.
Okay. Um, so we had our last match together as CM Punk, John Cena, few days ago, day. Um, right when it started. But when we're also talking about going out with the old, coming in with the new, the fact that I decided to retire CM Punk as me, as what I believed I accomplished everything that VWE had to give me, and that it kept on being the same thing over and over and over again, and I wanted something different. I always went through that left door, but this time I went through the right door. So the old is moving out as like CM Punk is gone. Not completely, but he's gone from in-ring action. But in the new sense of Byron Saxon's coming in, I still got these other talents that I play as, but they're just not as big as CM. But again, I've only been a big time wrestler. That's when the door opens where I could actually become small and I can go for the small titles. I don't have to worry about the dispute competing for that. It's not as much little one. So with that being said, we already talked about the left and right doors being open, but do you think there's like always a sign to pick the other door, not the other? Um, you're getting
No, 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 no. Stop
the
it.
people in here. So, do you think there's always a sign to not go through the left door and go through the right this time, or more of a what you
Well, it's um it's always good to try and let's say if you're scared of going through that door, then I suggest you do it because there's nothing more motivating than doing something you're afraid of. You probably won't know what's behind that door, but whatever it is, you're um you're facing it no matter what. And that's to me kind of motivating.
so face your fears and it will motivate. Um, to lighten up the mood and because talking about personal stuff kind of I don't want sometimes brings up the mood, sometimes bring it down. But how about we talk about a little bit about WWE and what was your favorite match at Wrestle?
Well, it's between a ladder match and Punk and Roman. To me, I believe that Punk and Roman had the wrong winner. It was still a great match, don't get me wrong, I just believe that Punk should have went over. Now, the ladder match to me, it was great. Uh, seeing Rey Mysterio, Penta, Javon Evans, all the Americanos, those damn Americanos, man. There's too many of them. But yeah, they really showcase some. They really showcase some great wrestling there.
That's personally, I think that Brock and Oban match, I surprisingly, well, I don't want to say surprisingly because I did see it coming. Everyone's coming. They just didn't expect it to be now that Brock Lesnar decided to retire. But I feel like that makes it. I don't know if he chose it to make it bigger for Oba or make it bigger for him because it really looked like he was retiring. He was sat there, cried in the ring. You never see a Brock Lesnar cry. Even though we haven't seen him in a while, we don't know how much his life has changed. That's why, personally, I thought that match had a lot of emotion stuff in. Just like the Roman and CM Punk, it was way more emotional than it had to be. They made, and then we over here have the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. When they made that, like, it wasn't as emotional. It was like, okay, yeah, we got this punk named Pat McAfee trying to push Randy over the edge. Listen to his voices like he did. Become the legend killer once again, even though he is now considered a legend. Like, that's what does it for me right there. How they make it so emotional. And the way people say wrestling's fake, it's not fake, it's scripted. See, yeah, the punches may be fake. The moves that look fake may be fake, but there's bumps that severely hurt. There's bumps that do a lot, tank you in. You know what I mean? That's
It's
why I
all
feel.
about suspending disbelief. If you wanna follow the product and enjoy it, you need to suspend the fact that this is scripted. You have to look past it and suspend disbelief. Because if you're able to look past that and we genuinely have a great product, it's just sometimes people have a hard time of seeing that. So all I can say is suspend the disbelief.
Oh, my bad.
Well, to be honest, Vince, I think we gotta wrap it up anyway. It's getting pretty late.
We had some technical difficulties. I kind of crashed, so I'm back now. You could continue.
So pretty much what was the decision for retirement?
What made me sad, or what made him?
Pretty much what was going through your mind when you thought, okay, I've accomplished everything. My time is up.
What made me think my time was up was the, like you said, it even plays into real life, the consistency of me going over the same people over again, and it's ending out playing the same way over and over and over again, and there's no rivalry going on, and it's just playing over. And maybe I should have just waited until you came along and decided that you wanted to make the rivalry stuff. But I'm lucky enough that you came along right when I decided to retire. Um, again, that um, what through my mind was BWE is definitely gonna miss me ring at CM Punk is my life and soul BWE, but there's people that never really expected. Maybe it's time for a new change. That's what people think. Or that's what I think. Sometimes you just need a refresh. You need a new beginning. You know, end of one chapter, beginning of the new one, and getting closer to the end of your life.
I think we have time for one more question. So
Yep.
let's end it with a bang. Let's hear a big question.
Okay. Now this one is. I hope it's not too deep for you. Well, I don't think it was that deep. But why wrestling? Why WWE? Why all this? Why do you choose this in life? Why did you? Oh yes, this I like this. Is what makes me happy. Why all this?
Well, I grew up watching as a kid. I still do today. It's it's an opportunity to make a name for yourself and inspire countless around the world. So in my mind, I pretty much just want to give the consumers a good product. And this is why I am on my way out, because every day I'm burning more rubber off the tires, so I don't want to stick around and give the consumers a bad product. So pretty much all of this to me is about giving something people to enjoy, because I know sometimes people coming from work, you know, sometimes they're in a bad mood. So in my mind, it's my job to make someone's day better. I would, if if it was possible to stick around, I would do this for free. I just physically can't do it anymore. So when I'm on my way out, I'm gonna try and give the best product I can, pretty much.
Like the same thing, but time for something. That's what this. I don't want to say it's what the whole podcast, this episode is really about. It's been more personal. It's been a lot. We talked a lot about more new. I feel like that's what episode is about. Bunch of new stuff. That's how lives go on. So I want to thank you for joining me here tonight. The Cryptics John Cena
Yeah,
and
thank you for having me. it's just nice to have a conversation with my friend after the final clash, you know. It was a very emotional match. It's one I'm never gonna forget, and it's just good to see you, man.
I could say this got me crying when I was walking out and
You
walking
son of a
in.
bitch.
I was happy, honestly, walking out,
I was heartbroken.
realizing this is like the
There
opposite.
was some people at ringside. I had my head tucked into the turnbuckles, you know, because I was having a moment to myself, thinking like, damn, this is the last time, man.
I was absolutely sobbing when I was walking out. But everyone kept on trying to check in on me. Big Red kept on stepping in. He's like, "You good?" Like, "Yeah, I'm good." As I'm crying, you give me a handshake before and after the match.
Pints of tears were shed.
Yes, it was gallons. What do you mean it's gallons? Pound liquid, um, jugs. But yeah, I feel like learning a lot about you was a good step. This podcast, this episode was a good step for learning a lot of fun, not just in wrestling, life too. But it's episode 2. Maybe I'll start labeling these episodes. Last one I guess I could call it experiment or something because that thing was
Maybe. I don't know.
horrendous.
You might need to workshop it.
I do. Maybe we could have if you open sometimes. Maybe we could have you as a other host.
Maybe,
Times out.
as of right now, my schedule is a bit tight. Um, as I announced yesterday on Monday Night Raw, I'm gonna be on a part-time schedule. So, maybe not now, but possibly in the future when my schedule opens up a bit.
That's okay with me. Even if it's small times, if it's here, there, nitpicky times, and then down in the line, there's a big time that you could come through. It's it's fine with me, even if it's like every now and then. For now, because
We'll see. We'll see.
hey,
I'm I'm not saying no.
yeah,
We'll see.
I could see that. But yeah, that's number 4, the 4th person on the podcast so far. Big Leo, um, Big Juicy, King Coda, and now a Cryptix. So yeah, thank you for everything, and hope you have. I wish you good wealth and health and everything the better for your life and the rest of
There's just so many.
Okay, so that's episode 2 of the Best in the World podcast. I'll see you guys for episode